My name is Barton Jackson II. I'm from Eagle, Idaho. Idaho is an at-will employment state, so by the same concept that you can leave your job at any point without any justification to your employer can terminate you for any reason without discussing that with you. I started working in college in a fine art frame shop in Meridian, Idaho. I would actually do these custom fine art framing jobs both for individual clients and also businesses all throughout the Treasure Valley. When I first entered the workforce, I was familiar with the annual review process. You know, do your job, do it well, you get a raise. Wouldn't be an exciting raise, but you got a raise. The general manager changed in year two or I should say store manager changed in year two for my location. And when that happened, everybody's annual reviews were getting pushed back to the point where the in-house human resource officer took over the reviews. But in the process, my annual review was a full year late. And I was patient about it, and I would just kindly remind them. Finally, we get around to my 1 year late annual review. And I have a great conversation with the human resource officer. They apologized for it being pushed back so long. They explained why. It was a fine justification. And the thing that excited me was they said, not only are you getting your raise, but it's going to be retroactive. I wasn't fully out at work. I wasn't out at home yet. But I had a supervisor that I was very close with at work, and I confided in her. And just in the process, you know, somebody else overheard, and of course everybody finds out that I'm, you know, gay at work. I get pulled into the store manager's office real quick one day around payday. I thought I was just getting my paycheck because it wasn't getting direct deposited yet. And he goes, here's your check. Oh, and by the way, we are not making that raise retroactive. So, you know, without getting furious in front of my boss, right, I'm trying to say, well, is there a reason for that? And he's like, well, that's an expense that we're not going to take. And, you know, starts to insinuate that because I'm gay and that he knows I'm gay, you know, he could just fire me, and he's not inclined to give me that raise. So I go home, I'm furious. I don't know what to do. I don't really have a recourse to action. So I reached out to somebody who I had been dating at the time, who invited me to go to work at another place. It was a financial institution. It was a large bank in Idaho. And I went for the interview without telling my employer on my day off. I kept it hush-hush. I got a job offer. And when that happened, I went in and I gave my 2 weeks notice. And when they asked me why, I was like, well, you know why. There was a retroactive raise that I was entitled to, and you took back. You held the fact that I'm gay over me because you could fire me at any time. So here's your 2 weeks notice. It's been a delight working with everybody else, but not you. The end of my 2 weeks is coming up, and it's Halloween, which is my favorite holiday. And I decided that I was going to do Halloween in drag at night at the club. I'm getting it all together, and I get a wild hair, and I go, you know what? I'm going to come to work in this because we're in a craft store. Everyone else is dressing up, like people are doing cats and mummies and witches and whatever else. I'm going to come in as a drag queen because now everybody I know knows I'm gay. Everybody else is fine with it except for the store manager, so I'm just going to do it. I go in, just as myself as Barton. I go into the bathroom and do like a 15-minute quick drag. Like, it was the most busted drag I think anybody has ever witnessed. The only good thing was I hadn't learned how to grow a beard yet. So, you know, this was at least smooth enough that, you know, people could forgive the contour job. But I'm there, I'm doing frames in the back, you know, and finally I come up and I'm helping people at the design table. And one of my best clients comes in. She was the seventh wealthiest woman in Idaho. As soon as she hears my voice, she's kind of like, Barton? And I start explaining to her, you know, that I'm leaving the company. She asks why. So I'm explaining it to her. And clients keep coming in, and I keep explaining it because they all want to know why I'm leaving. So as this is happening, you know, here's Barton in drag with an electric blue wig, electric oversized sunglasses, and high heel thigh highs. And the store manager comes walking through the apartment, and he kind of stops. And then he looks back, and I just saw him turn scarlet and beet red, and he was so mad, but he couldn't say anything because I've got this wealthy customer in front of me, and she is having the best time with it. And I just look and I wave and I go back to my client and I conclude with her. And he comes back through and he's like, this is highly unprofessional. I go, what are you going to do? Fire me? It's my 2 weeks, remember? I didn't see him again. Like, he hid in the office. The door was closed. He wasn't talking to nobody. As soon as that happened, every department was talking to every department, like, oh, did you see what happened between so-and-so and Barton? And he wouldn't talk to anybody because everyone thought he was in the wrong. One of the things I did find out when I visited Idaho after moving to Seattle was that frame shop had lost like a third of their clients over it. They couldn't retain them. And a lot of the employees ended up going somewhere else as well because they just couldn't work for a person like that. But it was really nice to hear that people genuinely valued me at work for who I was and not just the quality of the work that I did. After that happened, I was so happy, and I realized something, that even when you're in a place where the politics may not align with your survival or your quality of life, or the economy does not align with it, there are things that you can do to still recognize what your self-worth is and what your inherent worth is to the right employer. Start with assessing your self-worth, and make sure that you realize that you're valuable regardless of what anybody says. In fact, you're priceless.